Everybody get up, it's time to slam now.
Come on and slam, and welcome to the jam. Come on and slam, if you wanna jam.
When I was a kid, no one explained to me the difference between streetlights and guardian angels. So on road trips, I would sit in the back seat sprinkled with snow petals. My crown against the glass, there was no ceiling for me. Just the streetlights. My dad, the driver, and my mom, the juice giver. The street lights flickered by, bringing a clarity to the night, makes the shadows less scary. Driver would get in the car some days, the forest of his beard bending round the open cave on the hill of his face, a smile you could barely see, but was always on the horizon for me. Driver is the one who can navigate roads no one knows. Even he has not been here before. But something in him knows the way. The light shines out there. You can see the next one coming. It makes the darkness in between almost pleasant. I sit in the back seat with my crown safe against the glass wall, and my thoughts on the family that can't be broken. The juice giver stays in the car with me every day. Her soft hands hold a comfort to heal any sickness that the driver can't keep out of this car. She keeps it spotless in her mess. An organized chaos she is. The light softens at the edge, but it never gives out. At its darkest, starts to overlap and begins again. These street lights hold me as we travel to only driver knows where. Some days I would close my eyes to run into the dry shower of summer to find that the driver had no smile, hidden or otherwise. There was only the small piece of his power showing. Juice giver and I would try to stay out of his way on most days. We could give birth to the beast of driver's power to stay safe. But there were days his rage spilled over the table of our car, flooded the vehicle, soaking everything, no escape. I would hold on and pray for the driver to find the wheel in his heart again. Those streetlights would hold me as we traveled to only driver knows where. There are days the juice giver wakes me up and she is not there. She stares at things the driver and I can't see. Most days we could keep her with us. But there were days she would not be moved. The silent braking would crash through the car in a way no one but us could see. On those days, the driver and I would pray that she finds the drink her shearing soul needs. The lights go by. Darkness goes by. The car stops. Driver and juice giver get out, but my door is locked. There is a water woman in juice giver's seat asking me where we are going. There is a princess in my seat wearing my crown, asking water woman for a drink and looking at me, cascading light in the darkness. She says she can see the next street light and loves this adventure, asks how I always know what to do. In the rearview mirror, I see an old man and woman who look a little like driver and juice giver. The princess calls them grandma and grandpa. I watch the eyes of the old man. We lock in, us both now fathers. Driver has driven me to the driver's seat. The old say that we are gonna make it. Water woman puts her hand on my leg and says that we will be okay. Y'all, I'm in the driver's seat. And my foot is on the pedal going 90 miles an hour into the darkness. With no light in sight. I'm not an angel. I know some angels. And I hope the ones that we know, that their hearts are made strong. I've spent most of my life trying to reconcile the fact that I am a descendant of Adam. Concerned and scared that a young man can never raise above his stars or above his fathers. So when I think back in the tradition that I was raised in, I think about those stories of Adam. I think if he had a chance to say something, he'd have so many questions. He'd wonder, did I know how to fly? Was I immortal? Have I already died? How long must I toil? Had I wept before? I can barely remember the things that I used to know without thought. I had full access to my brain 100%. It was a mercy of the Lord to slow down my head, to retard my knowledge, for it was too much for a body to bear a mind mourning with all its capacity. You don't know what it was like to live with her. You have not loved with your core, 100% of your body and mind, and I don't anymore. I used to feel, like really feel. We didn't need words. Words were the plaything of a child. I could sense her from across the garden, but it's all dull now, numb now. For the pain was too much to bear. It was just a moment. It was agony. That day was not the first time I heard a beast speak. I remember some parts. Era, the language of sus. Y'all, how I wish you remembered the mother tongue. It is not a lion or a horse. Lion means era. Era does not mean lion. How I wish I could speak with you instead of just speaking to you. Do any of us feel anything anymore? I once sat with a butterfly before it had a name. Heard what stories would best describe it. Sat with the elk and the deer before naming them. Yes, I remember some parts. Was time a thing then? Did we talk for an eon or was it an instant? God forgive me. I can't remember. I spoke with the animals, y'all. It was what that snake said that shook me. It was how my ribs responded that froze me. When Medusa came into God's garden, had anyone in heaven or on earth or under the earth ever spoken like this before? Did time exist in that world? Could I have borne losing again? Did I watch my Lilith walk off into the desert sunset alone forever as she faded into your memories and legend? Or my mind and heart giving way to madness? Was she ever even real? How do you people cope with so much doubt when Eve, the Eve, when my Eve offered me that fruit, it no longer looked right. It looked like death, like heartache, like a wide world of blind men surviving on a drop when we were made to swim. Y'all forgive me. I knew what I was doing. I was there when the first heart became lonely, felt despair. I know he still has us, that we're all in his hands. I just can't feel him anymore. She and I are so lonely together. I'm trying to move on in my city, carrying these things with me, knowing that we've got these angels who watch out for us, who make us feel and believe so much when they speak. That I've got these temptations of being Adam represented right beside me. But most days, I'm just playing with my chickens in the yard, planting flowers. So I be in my yard and I've got these hip hop ideas in my head and I be joining out there trying to dig in the earth and be like, in my yard, getting it. SideKick jumping a candlestick, back end thick, agricultural Vic Vaughn. Y'all, I mean a picture of a masterpiece. It's quite ludicrous actually. In the middle of my hip hop fantasy, a car goes by and I hear, yo, what it do, Frodo? You ever feel like the skin you're in don't match the spirit? Like when all your interests don't match your epidermis? If I'm Frodo, then my hood be the Lord of the Rings. And that man down the block slinging rock is a dwarf, selling the habit. Elves keep moving in, makes sense, since they keep building 2 stories. Replacing them treetops, gentrification TikTok. I don't want to be the hero, y'all. I want to be Sam, a wise man. But these G's keep tempting me. If I extend my hand, take that power, that very hour, no longer a hero or sidekick, Charlotte would see a new Saruman. A white wizard posing as an ally. Cops, Urukai. Throw stones, then hide hands. Invisible to all unfriendly eyes via white skin and code switching. Fearing. The electric owls on every street corner don't whisper here. Goblins paying tributes, orcs orchestrating a new world order, and the white hand of a sorrowful man upon every after-school program. Y'all, I'm not Frodo. I just kinda look like him. My spirit don't fit my skin. Here's the deal, the real. If a war breaks out, I will go full-blown Tom bomb to Bill. Here's the deal. 3 blocks away from me be a poet named Jordan Bailey. 1 block away from me is an elementary school with one of the highest illiteracy rates in the country. Our hero is in that school, but we have not become Hobbiton in the hood, have not taken the shower to the streets, as long as he's still in that school waiting to be invited into an adventure that he can't even read yet. But there's still some good in this world, Mr. Frodo, and it's worth fighting for. So I do my best to go there with my simple gifts in hand, like Sam, a wise man. With these ABCs and stories, I place them beside the manger at the feet of a child who to me looks like a king.
Used to be, I would make a church out of a whiskey bottle. In the morning, praying to a porcelain god, prayers unanswered. I already messed up. Damn it. Okay, I'm gonna start over. Don't laugh. I see you laughing. Hold up. Hold up. Okay. Once I made a church out of a whiskey bottle, each morning praying to a porcelain god, prayers unanswered. I fell in love with spirits, which is to say, I caught a Holy Ghost. My Father, who art in heaven, or probably never made it, handed down his addiction like stone tablets, coming off the mountain of my adolescence. Sobriety, slithering its way through my garden of inebriation, selling healthy coping skills as if it were the knowledge of good and evil. Convinced if I surround myself with angels, then this must be heaven. Forget that we are all fallen or close to it. Stumbling through the pews of this church, language is a funny thing. To a Christian, I have never been baptized. No, I have never been saved. But I have been drunk on holy water, drank communion wine till I was covered in blood, woke up next to Mercy dressed as Mary Magdalene. And ain't that the same? We hold weddings in graveyards, liver screaming till death do us part. It sounds more like threat than vow. My friends keep saying I lost God. The church meets on Thirsty Thursdays. They've mistaken beer pong for Bible study, slurred speech for sermon, the lines in their suicidal wrists for stigmata. They can't understand how close the bottom of a bottle is to 6 feet deep. They ask, how can I be an atheist when I know God exists? I tell them I can't pray to a God that prefers me on my knees, that these hangovers don't feel like an awakening, and no matter how much Red Bull I add to the vodka, it will never give me my wings. See, I've been trying to turn my body back temple from a dive bar. So tired of building churches out of glass bottles as weak as my faith. So yeah, I found God in all the places he wasn't supposed to be and lost myself. So now I'm trying to make space for the both of us.
I've been writing these poems. As they exit these pursed, poised lips, I don't give in to stoicism. I don't erect a facade to make an enduring facsimile of my identity. Despite my inner torment and rebellion, Against the status quo, I sashay my linguistic vernacular to the unruly self-doubt that grips this nation, for I heed this clarion call to pick up arms, utilizing wordplay as both weaponry and divine sorcery, conjured by a mage who's at the cusp of his prime. In all my power and might, I flex like bow, contort messages that bombastically explode like kamikaze warships, for I sink enemy U-boats with a stealthy precision never before seen by mere muskets. You are shooting skeet for sport while I am planning the next assassination of immorality that presently has its deathly hand choking the life out of this country. It gags without a reflex, for I subvert cacophony by crafting antithetical symphony. A million-person orchestral ensemble at my waking command with the power to crack the hardened construction of Trump's dome. Don't wait by the phone, for this dial tone means the punishing collision of my lyricism has enveloped its intended target. I don't require fisticuffs to prove a point. I can de-escalate tensions by caressing hellfire before it reaches eternal damnation. Sanctions are in the process of being signed executively, but there's no signature that can bind the willfully ignorant to the free-spirited, ever-hungry iconoclast. This is no time to fast, no metric rhyme or rampant reason to disembowel democracy. Its innards may leak onto the cobblestone pathway that used to be well trodden by horse and buggy. We need a return to those simpler, more honest times before the groundswell of gadgetry caused dysmorphia to our brains. Humanity is unmeant to be constantly plugged in, yet garishly tuned out from human experience. A technological death knell finally crafted by the billionaire class. Screw malignancy and mental illness. This is the real invisible enemy our bodies and minds must worry about. Let us now be the antigen to these pathogens, performing, publishing, and writing to combat delirious, dizzying diseases.
Everyone at this table is fighting to heal. Mary doesn't make eye contact while Billy sleeps in the corner. Tim is in the middle of his life story, and Susan wears long sleeves, but you can still see the scars. Nobody can understand what Glenn is saying. The business we do here is the business of survival. Marcy doesn't talk to men, while Mia has gotten clean again. Nelson asks Marcy why nobody cares. Edward keeps interrupting, and Elliot keeps rolling his eyes. Somebody is taking Nancy's lunch. We could all walk out, but we're staying here. Thomas can't stop shaking, and Patty smells like lavender and weed. Bobby's bouncing is triggering Tina, but Tina has nowhere else to go. Everybody knows Sandra's full of shit. I'll be here again next week. Some faces will be missing, some faces will be new. Sarah says the only way to save her son is sending him to prison. Horace is trying to stay out of the hospital while Paula's meds make her feel dead inside. Becca wrote a beautiful poem about grief but couldn't finish, so Joseph read it for her. Joseph is afraid to meet the souls he sent to hell. The phone on the wall won't stop ringing, but no one answers because no one knows what to say.
Your smile is a rainbow in the dark, illuminating beauty and magic wherever you decide to cast this blessing of yours. To be the recipient of your smiles makes me smile for miles and miles, all the way from the Merrimack to the Nile. And it's been a while since living has felt this worthwhile. Got me to file my smile again once lost and gone. Got my heart running marathons from dusk till dawn. Got me cheesing like a pizza. And the list goes on and on. Got you in my head living rent free with no intent of eviction. What's the point? And going through the stress and friction when everything has been feeling more magical than fiction. I'm not used to this. The ways you offer assistance, how you can yeet bad vibes into non existence. I fully appreciate your existence, but if you think your existence is flawed, baby girl, I'll take you closer to God. I'll make temptation run rush throughout your minds until it claws in blissfully deep, leaving you in awe. Just give me the nod, and I'll do good to your bod. Blowing your mind faster than Kevin Nash blows a quad or a knockout roundhouse kick from Jawed Claude Van Dam. Girl, I'll make you shout, God damn. Allow me the opportunity to silence those lambs with passion that burns more intensely than 1,000 midnight lamps. You don't have to ask if I am him, because yes, I am. In due time, you'll see that after you planted that seed, you'll find that I'm the trouble that you need. I'll complicate you in the best way indeed. No promises, just guarantees. Just lay back, watch and see, mamacita. In this dance floor of intimacy, I'll take the lead. Allow me to sweep you off your feet. First step in this dance is with a kiss so sweet. May this be the sweetest surrender.
I smile crooked because the bitter inside me always wants to escape my teeth. They say revenge is a sweet taste. Unfortunate for me, it's always been whiskey sour. No matter how I chase it, however I flavor it, there is no suitable disguise. My frown is less a cape, harrowing my mouth. I've had women say to me, I should smile more often. They probably just want to get a better look at my fangs, forking inside, imagining my vampire bite. When it comes to relationships these days, every woman seems to want to leave or live more danger on the dangerous side. On the dangerous side. The last time my ivory seeped inside an apple, I fell in love with someone who was in love with someone else. Maybe the juice in the fruit was its way to aware me of its bleeding, dying at the touch of my claws outside of it. But if the white of it browns in the presence of air, it make perfect sense to why my situations were rotten. The compost of what was good to devour, with breasts, ass, and lip implants, fatting the culture, our being together didn't stand a chance. And I keep forgetting we're not in love anymore. Sometimes I want to blame my loss of memory on the time I hit my head chasing girlfriends, the feminine classmates in the schoolyard. I still remember how leaping down to them led to the ground, greeting the soft spot on my head. It matters not how impenetrable my thick skin is against these fighting words. Love and loss can be confusing, but in the end, you will know the difference. I guess you can say that Big Brother is a saber tooth, the way his watchful eye has a taste for evil, always wanting to bring the worst out of me, tempting me with all this low-hanging fruit. TikTok, YouTube, only fan pages, fake booty exercising fitness visits. Do my eyes dagger the squat found in their stretches? Have they ripped the cell walling off of their flesh tones? I smile crooked because the bitter inside me always wants to escape my teeth. They say revenge is sweet, but how do you cheat someone you are no longer with? Must be payback escapes the grooves of my palm prints, sealing me away from being him again. They say when a man gives his heart to a woman, only she who's held it can ever hold it again. Every other experience is just another void filling moment. No matter if she lets you kill the pussy, you feel like the prey she died for. It's a lonely ride, two wheeling tracks like a Harley Davidson, running to and from past memories. Only the trailing cigar smoke knows where I've been. Ain't no point in anyone asking. So I keep to myself, wearing anger like a man in need of a bar fight. Women find it attractive, my repelling glare, stealing in their eyes. If only they knew I was frozen in time. It's a lonely strand of hair poking out of the face of a wolverine, the hopeless romantic, hiding behind the eyes of a terrible beast.
Almost and probably are the posted armed guards protecting all of the movie theaters in your mouth. Theater 1, you play the villain in your own heartbreak at 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. Theater 2, girl meets girl, falls for boy, boy falls in love with everything you won't ever become. At 3:45 at Theater 7 in 17 minutes, a motion picture of every one of your well underdeveloped negatives will take center stage. Starring Forget Everything Behind You Left, co-starring with an ego that always only knew how to exit stage right. Outside Theater 8 are the matinees. Best Director in Motion Picture, the two nominees are Donald Trump for the riots he incited for which he would never get indicted, and George Bush, who never found any weapons of mass destruction, but did find new pipelines for oil production. Best featured actor in the film, Jesus, for his role in playing Jewish, not Christian. Best costume design, whoever took a Middle Eastern man and dressed him up to be a hippie, blonde-haired, blue-eyed, white Jesus Christ. Theater 9, best set design. Please remind Leonardo da Vinci arranged every actor character in The Last Supper's masters painting plasters. Painting was the planting of faith, mankind's two mustard seeds in the picture. Best choreographer, best musical score, Michael Jackson, Billie Jean, For the Kids, Not My Son, secretly dedicated to every baby mama in the fucking house. Best adapted from novel and human editor editing every new Bible published. Honorable mention goes to not LeBron James, the other King James Version, the New English Bible, English Standard Versions, and lastly, the New Living Standard Versions. Give it up for all the editors of the Bible, ladies and gentlemen. I mean, best indie film editor, ladies and gentlemen, whoever decided to kick the Gospel of Judas and the Gospel according to Mary Magdalene and edit it right out the Bible. Ladies and gentlemen, I mean, look outside Theater 12. Best cinematographer in an action drama, Toxic Relationships, goes to, poster says, God. For best toxic relationship with son. He left his son on the cross. Stigmata, the scars. Back outside Theater 9. It's the red carpet to the matinee award fashion show. Truth is, Jesus just had one religion. And that one religion just won the award for the only world's one religion. That only world one religion should be love. The One World Religion Award should be given to love.
I got a call the other day from a charming chap who called out, "Hey, we'd like to secure your house and grounds. Have you researched it yet? What have you found?" "I haven't looked it thus far," I said. "I haven't been too concerned, not full of dread from what I learned. We have a very special deal this week," he said. "We have everything that you might seek." "What kind of service interests you?" I replied to his inquiry. It left for me since I was intrigued by, even inspired by this. You see, could we get some critters from the zoo, perhaps a tiger, a leopard, or an ape or two that would patrol and scare off intruders, maybe a pair of black-tipped sharks, say from Bermuda, maybe a pack of wolves to patrol at night and scare off any burglars that might take to their heels on some cloudless dark night, or a laser cannon might be nice, either AI or IR on automatic, right? Either way to pierce or sever might be just the thing. It might be clever. Mounted high upon the roof on this 360 swivel. To tell the truth, I like that better. Old Buck Rogers certainly had 'em, or maybe a minefield hidden on the sidewalk, sealed and deeply buried in macadam. Wouldn't always need to be fatal, but certainly far more dangerous than a spinning dreidel. What do you say? Linked an X-ray scan so we could carefully detect whether it's a woman or a man? I'd really like a moat, of course. What do you charge for such a diggardly, dastardly, over-the-top resource? Complete with alligators or piranhas, either way, what do you say? And a contingent of guards might be well needed to toss them in where it's time for a feeding. I was thinking, of course, of mines. Bouncing Betty's might be fine. I'd like a good map of where they were placed, or you too might get a kiss from Pretty Betty, right where you used to have a face. Could you supply a dozen heads on spikes? It could reduce the intruders. It might be nice. He sounded sheepish in his retort. Well, he paused and said, "We had something else in mind, of course." Before he could speak, I offered this, while contemplating Bouncing Betty's bliss. "A flock of peregrine falcons, perhaps, or a brace of eagles." He started nervously to laugh. He opined that it might seem regal, even patriotic, maybe, truth be told, or a touch psychotic. Well, he said he had in mind a doorbell camera to show those at your door or what have you. A package, say, there upon the floor, tied to an app installed there on your phone, so you could check your house when you're not at home. Though downcast and a bit downhearted, I asked, was this all he had to offer at last? They might put a sensor on the window in case someone to climb in and break some glass. "No wildebeest, no roaming boars, no flock of noisy gooses, swans?" I implored. "No moats, no laser-guided guns? Oh gosh," I chuckled, "you're just no fun. I already pay a team of orcs. They're a rowdy bunch, but they need the work. And I have my team of pterodactyls on patrol, but you know how they eat. They're so out of control."
I want to know what love is. I wrote your name in the margin so many times because I wanted to know what love looked like. I carried a picture in my wallet because I knew it had to be beautiful, so it had to look like you. Some days, I think if I scream your name, it will echo off the walls and hit me like a ton of bricks. Because I thought that was how you felt in love, that something had to knock you off your feet, head over heels, the fourth time you passed me by. I wanted to tell you what happened at first sight, but someone told me love was blind, so I felt foolish and continued to let you walk away. I always thought if I met love, I would tell it all the things I never got the chance to say, like, where you been? What took you so long? And did you eat? But all I could do was stutter over my words. It sounded like it's been so long since I ate, and now I just sound selfish. I guess that's why me and love never quite work out. I'm too afraid to do the heavy lifting. Maybe tonight I'll pray for strength so tomorrow I won't feel so weak. I want to know what love is. I'm so convinced it's 5'4" with brown eyes and a fat ass. I forget, and maybe something I've never seen before. I've been trying to find love in all the wrong places, licking lustful lamps, hoping a genie will grant me my biggest wish, you. But if love looks like anyone else, I want to look it straight in the eye, become its pupil, learn everything it has to offer, maybe even write it into a poem and share it with someone.
Safe cracker, lock picker. Insert mechanism into your cranium, jack in. Cat6 cables plugged in, fiber optic search. For I funnel information into your subsystem, a master of chronology, one who upsets security, destabilizes matrices at no cost. impervious to injury, indomitable to a kill shot. My mind moves at radius times pi to the uppermost power. A stare-down contest renders you listless, executing standardized testing with fearlessness, not shrieking in horror from unquenched aptitude. Not shaking in my boots from circumventing bureaucracy that threatens to choke our institutions into submission. They call me a microphone fiend, feverishly plotting takeovers wherever there are platforms to mesmerize, causing sieges that rattle collective consciousness, shaking foundations, erecting towering monoliths, dispersing funds to communities in need, eviscerating red tape, for I require no tribute, working silently in the shadows. But when it's time to strike, making my reveal, people may squeal. Shock, awe is not what I seek, never meek. Words melodious to the mouth, muscles matriculate. Safe cracker, lock picker. I am not a fraudulent foe, just a hidden asset, holding court while counting my cards. Undetectable poker face. My actions resound, reverberating like the equipment I rock, utilizing cutting edge cunning, imperceptible intelligence, linguistic mastery. Effusive speech, not meant to cajole, but to incite congregation. There's power in masses, strength in numbers, summoning vestiges of might. Seduce code, attain understanding of advanced devices, become technologically supreme. Humans may not be gods, but attainment of skills mobilizes stragglers into subjugators, achieving oneness in a crowded ecosystem.
The phoenix refuses to rise. So we lay in the ashes, despair and I, staring at the ceiling, not talking, still because moving only makes her hold on tighter. I can feel my heartbeat slowing. Anger left hours ago. He didn't turn to look, just slammed the door, and I heard the car peeling out into the night. I don't know if he'll come back this time. I wish his absence felt peaceful. Everyone here is broken because everyone here lost the fight. The fire's gone out. The air smells like loss. And I'm waiting for someone who isn't coming. I remember when smiling felt better than this. I'm in a negative zone outside the storm where everything gray has been replaced with something painted gray. My psychiatrist spotted depression over my shoulder while I rattled off my daily data. Couldn't see her, but I imagine her dress was gray. He didn't say, but these little white pills should make her go away. I want to write a poem about my friend who died, but the words don't feel right in my mouth, so I have to spit them out and wait another day. I wish I could write him a song. Instead, I keep this vigil and watch her while she works her brush until the red is gone and the green is gone and the blue is gone and the air is heavy with her. I ache for the violence of the storm, but I would never tell my doctor that. So I listen for the sound of distant thunder while he's talking, watch the rain over his shoulder. Every day they turned me off, put the needle in my hand held by the nurse who would squeeze right before I left. My body left lifeless, or at least I wasn't there. Once the inexorable rush of cold forced its way up my arm, the irresistible hush crushed under anesthesia. My propensity for puffing made me nearly impervious to incapacitation. So they had to make the velvet hammer hit harder until I buckled while a nurse held my hand and squeezed every morning when they used to turn me off.
Y'all ever heard your mama say, the devil is a liar? Unmute and say with me, the devil is a liar.
The devil is a liar.
The devil is a lawyer. Liar, mirror, to illuminate your inferior interior. The Satan serpent started speaking sweet sophistry so early in history, it's in chapter 3. Slid out of the tree with twisted whisperings of a law he sought to betray. The first thing he asked was, did God really say? This was the beginning of a whole new trade, legalistic language, weaving webs of wickedness designed with doubt in mind, the first of his kind, leading the legally blind. Slandering indicter, criticizing creator, abusing commandments designed to be savior. See, Satan means accuser. An appropriate title for the first finger pointer. He couldn't be judge, jury, or executioner. He had to settle for chief prosecutor. He exposes your darkest parts, presents a picture of you as one who could never be renewed, seeking to devour, consumes your self-loathing like sustenance, turns it back around as evidence. He knows you can't argue. You'd add lies to transgressions, deepen the depression and infinite regression. But my mama used to say, don't ever let them make you feel guilty for something you didn't do. They can't give you the guilt if it's not already in you, but what if the blame is yours to bear? How do you cope when the witness against you is actually playing fair? See, two things can be true at the same time. The devil is a hypocrite, but I still did the crime. If you want out, you'll need a pardon. Only grace can atone. Because forgiveness is a legal loophole even Satan doesn't know.
As a matter of history, what they can't sell, they remove, send back, mark down, marketed, flawed, temporary, dispensable. They will spotlight your finest until they crack or bright lights fade you, remake you as a simple copy of your own predecessors, recontextualize your canon, underpaid to have it flipped for you, praise and feed you to demons. The industry wants you broken. Keep the vibe. Predators don't scavenge grassroots culture, plant seeds, grow fruit. When they deny your growth, your rebirth, your remix, keep rocking. When they label you fad, trend, relic, keep rocking with the same seismic force that breaks ground, beats, and old school rules bring the stars down to earth. All the stars. Keep rocking. They want to erase your mural, baking soda and water under high pressure and gentrification. Keep rocking, blend beats and mixtapes like church ladies in basements, kitchen to feed parishioners, find secret ingredients, dig into the deepest crates and pocket every penny for offspring. Hold integrity to your heart like the DJ holds hands clockwise placed on the platter. We are timeless. We are the rock that cannot break if we don't let them, as long as there are 2 turntables, 2 or more speakers to tumble tunes across concrete in the name of making a name, as long as this name-making game is based on the rules of realism, originality, building up, building out, as long as we got homies willing to run under cover of traffic and audacity, aerosol oars, as they turn walls out inside, as long as ancestors continue to deliver post-future hybrid visions and whisper this alchemy of kissing the ground in order to defy gravity, we be the ones standing square with thousands of styles, elevation, magic at our fingertips, and daring you to come get some. Hip-hop music carries folk tune and dance, has the same echo as the blackest back houses, bears the sin of crossroads blues, sweat and wails like Saturday night jazz, cries for the truth like Sunday store, gospel begs sincere like so. Rock and roll band and dresses differently, speaks in authoritative code, paint broad spectrum, or not at all. Erase old self and build a new monument to your moment. Baptize them in style as you dance praise to every god of spin and lyric and hook and cut and bring that motherfucking beat back. What it is.
Funny how God's eye turned AI viable future, Kama Sutra, common sense into coded language in need of solution, more Python than Trillion. They watchmen strapped in, so comedian, laughing in ones and zeros, cackling like crows in windows to souls so closed that never tasted a breeze, crashing into game is to be sold, not told, where heroes only come in colorless. This Rorschach skin makes me anti to anyone not named Hampton, Lumumba, Minister Malcolm, maybe Asada, just a shot away from Kennedy, part Huey, part Stokely. So free lunch program put 10 points on scoreboards against warlords that made Reagan from a Hoover, using ink to blot out projects with whims, made pens mightier than swords wielded by corporate distortions, how endorsements become killing fields. Green light on factions that look a lot like communities with a foul scent of putrid excuses resting on rooftops. Call it extinction. I mean, explicit belligerence. I mean, experiment for all things Agent Orange couldn't citrus out of fisticuffs or fruit fights in jungles of Reservoir Dogs. Just pulp, part poker chip, less Tarantino, more De Niro, casino, playing American roulette on blackjacks that can't see past a pass line. Call it snake eyes, shell shock, electro-compulsive tyranny, made needles therapy on 18-gauge flights to void. Pump action into veins, make you invincible, dependable, dispensable, wearing medals made of men and Marines and soldiers and shrapnel, an air of men turned Gatling, breathing in napalm dreams where shell casings rain like brimstone. Call it mission accomplished. Another government assassination of colored character long before they called it war, made it obstacle. Another solution necessary turns safety to hasty fighting positions that only pray to gods of death. Smoking barrels and courage-laced cigarettes from a town called home that may never find its way home. Call it dangerous. Memories make you vicious, wishless, listless, which is to say danger. Don't give a damn about gardens guarded by wardens sworn in to defend against terrorism. Less foreign, more domestic to keep pipelines open. Hope in a magazine that only opens fire, not borders. Simply follow orders to ends of earth. Dress right, dress your civil unrest into position of attention. Salute your savagery in a pristine uniform, tapped into final tap, playing taps when DAP and dog tags replace body bags as a warrior's good death. Laid to rest as proof. 5 bloods, 4 horsemen, good, bad, ugly, twice removed from number 1 rule. All is fair when love becomes horror. masked as gravedigger on battlefields, bleeding from a sky called faith.
If this poem found you, it was meant for you. Hello, you know me. I'm your guardian angel. Don't worry. I'm always here, watching your stupidity. Don't overthink it. I'm here when you sleep. I'm here when you're awake. I'm here when you fuck up. I'm here when you succeed. We do everything together. Everything. Don't overthink it. And if you ever need me, I'm always 2 steps in front of you.
A moment of silence, please. Cacophony of the restless heart. Too young to start, but these drugs got me in a trance, performing an intranquil dance. The devil applauds with blood-stained hands. Is it his fault or mine that I can't seem to find peace? Practical application, positive affirmations while filling out job applications. The tension thickens. I can't take the pressure. Lack or prosperity, locked are the doors of luxury. Scavenging for sanity, sickening surroundings. So sober, but I can't stand reality. So sick off the poison, but still can't stand up to the bully. Life has become such a tragedy, but everyone else seems to think it's funny. Here you go, free samples of trauma, but it cost extra for the healing. Too young to start, but tragedy don't tell age apart. But these drugs got me in a trance, performing an intranquil dance. The devil applauds with blood-stained hands. Is it his fault or mine that I can't seem to find peace?
Those who don't pay attention to history are doomed to repeat it. Keywords in this statement has to be doomed and repeat. The understanding of devastation in the repetition. America has been a nation in question, a fueled engine by racial division. It ain't take a 47th president for me to realize. I ain't one bit surprised by all the hate flags and swastika signs, the Nazi salutes, when our officials are unofficial Klan Klux Klu, disguised against the officiating rankings to blanket their organization we so comfortably rest under. Let's take a look back into World War II. When the Allies won the war, what did America do? Hired hundreds of German geniuses to help redefine and design the American sciences. Scientists, technicians, and engineers of Nazi Germany who fought against enemy became United States of America's government employees. When you hear paperclip, the first thing that comes to your mind is office supplies, a length of wire bent into loops that can be used to hold pages of paper together. But when I hear paperclip, I think contents confined, and my mind skips back into the timeline, a period when America infiltrated herself for biotechnology. Whether it was considered the race of the century or warfare to ward off her enemies, The decision came with iron fisting under a secret intelligence program. Operation Paperclip, conducted by the Joint Intelligence Objectives Agency, was carried out by special agents of the U.S. Army's Counterintelligence Corps, Germans that were former Nazi members. Some worked with leaders of the Nazi Party. Explain to me how we overlooked the facts that these were defeated enemies. I guess they never suspected that their handshakes would razor blade their wrists, or that their grip will pull them close and dagger them in the back. Probably because their eyes were on us, the ones they stole and never compensated, worried if their savage ways would one day show up in us. We are not we are on the cusp, the line of dirt, refusing to be swept. There is no way to clean up this much corruption, no rug big enough to hide it under. The people have awakened, and now America is on the verge of civil confliction. Babylon will destroy itself inside out again. Those who don't pay attention to history are doomed to repeat it. Key words in this statement: doomed and repeat. The understanding of devastation in repetition. This self-devouring nation we must come out of.
The pain of poverty stays in high performance. Our people, our pain is, that it is, and it is that it is. It's that our whole world is fucking staged. Colored skin sponsored men's profit margins. Best believe new age young Negroes stayed on fleek, smoking their Newport, stayed on burn. Don't disbelief, believe history's on repeat. And back then, in olden, ungolden age of American Negroes, young men, even then, in their sold in Newports, they stayed in and burned black bodies, boys, burn way back then. I got some burning rhetorical questions to plead. Are all answers from ancestors meant to please? I mean, can I get an amen and a racist gender reveal party, please? Which general agenda from which gender switch? Absence of skin tone and never atone. I mean, which unjust adjust did invent race? I mean, to not be mean, but does American pride, American dream of American flags without those red in between white slave whips portrayed proudly so even on either side of the flag's backside? I mean, if honesty honestly asks color, what colored's poverty, what would it say? Which shameless assholes are burning the country's facts down to ashes stores and stashes it, unlike some fiction? I mean, which shameless assholes are burning historical predatorical facts off in the cleared up huff scuff clear throats of poverty's lowest class like it doesn't know facts? Yellow yellows, brown browns, black blacks were the color skin tones that built this country upon their breaking backs. So slave nooses begin bowing down in bottom lines and acting out of fucking line. So systematically, they threw forward what they never cared to throw back, y'all. Rednecks, emboldened, brave, armed with self-taught nooses and double back came back even bolder and well-funded, and backed by nooses from horseback, then by redneck pickup truck benefactors, backed castrations and other fucked off situations, now backed by hang a noose Negro truck shifting time in part, but not before shifting gears in reverse, backing back nooses, prank calling on God as if God wouldn't answer a call back. Back now, nooses were the first ones collect calling on God because they were the first ones hanging up. What do you call that? A hang up, or call them black? I mean back. I mean fragile necks, cracked under the weight, down, skin tones that couldn't cut down their own being black. Watch how pick a nigga picnics came back. Politicians running on platforms in power plays and plays like break a leg. Second Amendments and encore is a second act in the Constitution's first performance play to people please. Second Amendment was our nation's first move to second motions that would second the first place power of pistol placement in palms of pale-faced OGs. Big pharma's lobbying political gains for states of capital in our nation's capital, like those aren't the real ass, trill ass, original drug dealing, chasing capital ass OGs. Our pain ain't for play where we live. And your performance anxiety sponsored your break a leg and Murphy's Laws and critical race theory, and now book banning, breaking book spines like this nation's history wasn't power struggles to see who could really play so you can keep your break a leg. Yeah, Norris. These cats I run with would rather crack a rib. Part 1 of the poem.
My blandest English with a round fist, soaking to the ears who can man any sound this. God died on a cross for our sins, he didn't say dead, and then he rose from the dead, and then he landed on the road with his call, and then he go to the house, his house.
Now scream, I will brandish.
I will brandish!
My blandest. No, scream, I will brandish my blandest. Do that part again and scream it.
Ow, 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 ow.
Yeah, you ready? On 3. I will brandish.
I will brandish my blandest English with a round fist, soaking to the ears who can man any sound this.
High five.
Yeah.
Say thank you.
Thank you.
The last time America ate some pussy was when he told me my reproductive system was no longer mine. And a white man in Congress with a dick in his pants had more say-so over what was rightfully mine. The last time I checked, I was born with a vagina and you with a penis. So how dare you check what a woman is feeling when the only time you feel anything is when you come? How dare you penetrate my vagina with your opinions when it was none of your business in the first place? How dare you tell a little girl at 9 she must have this baby that was fathered by her daddy? You might as well pull the trigger and put her in a coffin 6 feet under yourself. And as a woman, I wish I had as many rights as a gun does. And I think the dicks trying to take away our rights must have forgotten where their first home was. And if pregnancy is God's will, then so is a limp dick, because the last time I checked, Viagra wasn't government funded. So again, you need not apply your opinions to my vagina. And if I wanted the government in my pussy, then I would have fucked a senator, since he minds my business more than his own. Women be a death sentence. We be a fucking martyr, bending for bills that should not have been placed in the first place. We be signs that say women are property. like the cattle you breed and butcher. Uterus is hanging from a single branch on a tree, or like slaves with rope around our necks when we disobeyed. But I beg your fucking pardon, because my vagina ain't up for a debate, it ain't up for a bargain, the audacity. A man who can't bleed once a month has so much to fucking say. A man who can't get erect without taking pills in the first place. A man who has the slightest clue of what it feels like to be a girl. A man who dare wage war on pussy when everybody know pussy rules the world. I wonder if his granddaughter came to him and said, Papa, I was raped, would he have so much to say? Or would he jump states bending those same bills he helped put into play? I wonder if his daughter miscarried on the bathroom floor, would he name her a murderer? And I still wonder why we have to explain our rights to abortion to men who think we pee from a vagina. And if women can catch a murder charge for having an abortion, then we might as well kill our fucking rapists. Damn, ain't that preposterous? Being fucked by a man twice. But ain't that the American way? As I stand here, my reality is I be a death sentence. I be a martyr. I be a body in a prison cell. Because forcing me to have a baby is far more precious than my life itself.
Light, although always present, can seem to diminish when emotions play themselves out through anger, fear, and insecurity. Governments use cyber attacks in foreign soils because they feel insecure about their monetary asset or resources. On a microscopic level, insecurity protects me from harm to myself and others to ensure needs that is beneficial to me on a mental, emotional, financial, and spiritual level. As such, I look left and right before crossing the road, become mindful of assailants along dark streets and alleyways at nights. These same challenges drives me to ensure security, whether I am shopping in a chain store or ordering goods online from eBay, Amazon, or others. Insecurity is inherent to my nature, and I carry it with me in my transactions, both outer and emotional, driving me in relationships where there is at times unstable security of house, marriage, finance, or children. Indeed, fat cat lawyers lavishing the insecurity of greed understand this principle, and Jeff Bezos-style nuptials or agreements are never far from their predatory instincts. Insecurity has an aversion to change. This varies from computers, ChatGPT and AI, to smartphones and ecosystems. I retreat into a loneliness from pandemics like COVID, war, bushfires, deportations, or nuclear mongering, which drives my fears and concerns, leading to insecurity. Yet security by nature is rarely lasting. Houses with surveillance cameras are still broken into, marriages break up, wars continue despite excellent peace initiatives, and identity thefts are common in the media. Security is interwoven to insecurity, and they are, in fact, twins, both traits inherent to human nature. Greed and lust for power unfortunately eat on the same table, and on a macroscopic level, nations fight wars because they are blessed with the dark energy of insecurity and fear. A competitive person uses the blade of jealousy to compete against another, more charismatic perhaps, moving higher up the ladder of success. In the same way, man uses the ego power referenced in Mexico, Canada, Gaza, or Greenland to acquire resources which is not really his. When security is stabilized and fear absent, the need to acquire from others does not arise. An illusionary security can be traced, whether it hides its ugly head in trillions of dollars, seeks to shadow a government in controversial ways, engages in space explorations, artificial intelligence, and other fame-hungry transactions. I can also become insecure when they seem to be monitoring my personal data or social security documents. I work in a field of consciousness, utilizing my limited freedom, so-called choice, as given by the law of eternal. I can use this as a blade to peel fruits and vegetables or to acquire natural resources in Ukraine in exchange for a little of the vast machinery and wealth I possess. A sort of barter, like the old days, only I'm now more sophisticated. Cybersecurity is supposed to prevent cyber attacks, secure me from financial phishing frauds and more. It is a tool that should protect me, not spy on me. It engages the elements of AI for surveillance and sabotage, deportations and alienations, may even encourage tariffs and stealth as it slowly learns to do the jobs of people and government. Threats may weaken my opponents, protecting me from unauthorized disclosure and misinformation. Yet, as a knife which can peel fruits or cut flowers, cybersecurity engages in hidden warfare, surveillance, and sabotage, working with robots to take away jobs in a Star Wars style of engagement. Oh, love, do grant me the capacity to recognize my inherent ignorance, my limitations, to humble myself before you in the face of all sentient and insentient life, to work for the betterment of your creation, the excellence of all beings, and to bathe my soul in your rhapsody and delight.
Each generation that came before you has pulled themselves up by the bootstraps so that you can do the exact same. Die a post-apocalyptic, pre-revolution work camp death. Here, the unions march like martyrs to their execution. Each decade, each dark age, another millennium. Welcome home. Here, they put shattered glass in the pavement and they mix it cold so it don't melt. So when they lay the new sidewalks over our cemeteries, our commute walkways will move like airport magic, sparkle in the sun. Meanwhile, our alleys full of shit, our streets smelling of piss and cigarettes. Welcome to Prison Planet, where work makes you free. I am a Holocaust shadow kid myself. My ancestors would swear I inherited their strongest genes. All I know for sure is recently I've been getting real claustrophobic in the shower. Welcome home. I have to believe we were put here to work. We were all built so cemetery ready, so cement ready, so touched by our captors' compassion, their handouts of federal holidays. Still, there will never be enough time to organize a revolution that we can afford. But we will all get coffee and takeout this week. Welcome home. Here, there is a stain for every siren, every needle day, each sunken set of eyes and feet. We are all calluses, sitting in these balcony seats, bargain hunting on Facebook Marketplace with the lights off, trying to correct our posture and stitch ourselves into straight lines, the fastest commute, the least tollways, zero if possible, trudge through the next 1,000-yard stair this long, and now our vision can cut through smog and salt water. Come on, kid, keep up, keep moving, keep up, kid, come on, let's move. Gotta grow up in time, gotta clock in early, stand at attention, look down when they speak, obey your commands, look away, but the 1,000-yard stare blinks back. Miles out of reach is our freedom, and we are approaching catastrophic system failure. At the end of this ride, there is nothing. You really thought you could change the world? You're really not gonna march for this? So you're that ready for the lineup then? Your dream job is laughing at you from the back of the house while you dance on center stage for pennies on the dollar, yet we're still not marching. Please take the gun from my hand, spare me the pep talk and call us all what we are, pitiful, like your hate speech and your foster system. Look at it all finally rotting from the right white side down. Stench is this city. Soon we will fold all of our cracked bodies into the pavement. After a lifetime of signing away your body, what's another amputation? The rest of you this time, despite how we all look alike, keep your eyes on DEI. All of us, hollow tune, turn the channel to static, numbed out at the wheel. So play me out then with the music. Here in this garage, we are all dancing in unison to the hum of construction sites and our own execution. Here, where the revolution has stalled out like a wet engine in the street. Convince yourself if you can move this freely from cage to cage, you are not a herded animal, but we all die in this enclosure. In a garage we finally found with some free parking. Dance with me here till the fumes take us. I heard claustrophobia is hereditary. Look at our suicide pact. How our apathy moves the gears of war like a song that lulls you to sleep. And this is how we make our cities shine. I mean, the pavements look beautiful from up here, right? While we're all nodding off behind the wheel. We all die in this garage with the engine on, sat in the driver's seat. A last testament sign tucked in your breast pocket with a bloody tissue and the broken glass and the debt we owe still soaked into our undershirts. Work your whole life away for your children to inherit this accent alone. All they will have to show for your sacrifice is the car you died in, a means of them getting to work in the morning.
Untitled Rage 1. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the fascist states of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under Trump, extremely divisible with liberty and justice for Trump. 2. Satan forgot to flush him down, and we had the opportunity to do just that. I guess there's just too much shit in those pipes, but Trump has a way of resurfacing, bringing more problems than any solutions. 3. Moving forward, job applications should omit convictions in the background check in the same fashion that they should have removed relative job experience in 2016. 4. We should be treating Trump supporters like Nazi supporters. Y'all trade an armband for a cap. Y'all are supporting a fascist and racist regime. Y'all deserve a punch in the face. 5. I hope we don't see another devastating hurricane run through that island of floating garbage, because my family would be absolutely fucked. We're gonna need more than paper towels, cabrón. Chingate maga sucia. 6. Maybe we need something worse than a pandemic to remind the masses that we the people made the wrong choice, but I doubt it. America likes it rough. Again, I kink shame you eternally. 7. You either die a hero or live long enough to become the villain. Funny how you are becoming the same thing you villainized in World War II. Wish.com Hitler is probably going to lead us into World War III. Maybe we need to see something ugly to happen here so that we can never again repeat the same mistakes, leading to this moment in history in a similar fashion that Germany distances themselves from Nazism. 8. To any people of color who voted for Trump, hope you are never on the receiving end of police brutality, because y'all voted for the police to have immunity. 9. Lady Liberty is crying her eyes out, with tears flooding the streets throughout America. There are no lifeboats in sight. 10. America's misogyny is too afraid to have a woman president. 11. On the day after the election, my first customer said, "Today's a good day to be an American." Define what it is to be American other than deplorable. 12. I made it to 12. Can Trump even count to 12 yet? This country actually counts on him to run this thing. 13. 13. Sequels tend to be worse than the original.
I met Johnny in the 3rd grade at my grandmother's funeral.
The dog stays here. Yeah.
He screamed at me through her smoked black eyes. He wasn't there to control me. He wasn't there to console me. His hands on me in a way that no one could see. You see, depression is a big word for an 8-year-old. So I called my depression Johnny. And Johnny never asked permission to spend the night. He just came over. That's a lie. He never left. Would whisper in my ear while I was sleeping, "I'll always be smarter than you." At my grandmother's funeral, in between hugs, he told me, "You know your mom and dad will be cooking in that chestnut box one day too. Same for your friends. Same for..." Before he could finish, I ran right into 12 years old, where I ran into Nissa. Dark eyes, dark hair, and a smile made of spiders. I wonder who she liked more, me or depression. I mean Johnny. She'd say hi. I'd hear girls like strong men with wide shoulders. She'd say you can sit with me. I'd hear you have a glass heart, and I have a hammer for a tongue. Let me kiss you, broken. Johnny'd say tag, you're it, and we'd be off running. I got my first job when I was 14. Manager said I was a hard worker. Johnny said I didn't have the brains for much else. Said I told you so. When I dropped that bucket of paint on the counter, red, like my wrist could be, if I just let him take control. So I got myself some wood, and I built a box to keep Johnny in. Named that box Doctor Visit. Named it Citalopram. Named it Percocet. Johnny knuckle knocked my box of pills with questions. Like, is there any reason at all you can think of to be happy? Is this where you thought you'd be when you were 35? Do you really think a dirty hippie says anything worth listening to? You think your world is beautiful just because you say so? I bet you didn't even notice that you're holding that gun bottle. Can you think of any reason you should have cocked the trigger and take a shot? Put it to your head, mouth, click, drink away the sadness. I thought the pills made me faster. I thought the alcohol made me stronger. On my worst days, he would confiscate my identity until I did something about it. I stopped running and started living. Every day I go to work, live. See my wife breathe. Hug my daughter, live. High five my son, breathe. Johnny hates me a little more and I love it. When I zoom on to calls like this one filled with love, hands wide to fill every heart logged into the room, all he can do is wait outside, so forgive me if I start trying to reach through screens to hug strangers tonight. It's just that your arms look like barricades I know he can't cross, like mountains I know he can't move. Feel like your arms feel like mine, and you look like me. Like maybe you've got a Johnny of your own. I have stopped running. I hung up my living blues, hung up my running shoes, quit chasing death like it's a destination I'm gonna rush to get to. And I know it's not Johnny, it's just depression. And I know just because I'm not focused on it doesn't make it go away, but I don't have time to run from it when I'm too busy running towards all of this life in front of me. Yo, why is it that the people in pain seem to always have it stacked? Like depression ain't enough? Like you gotta add panic attacks? Like you gotta add bills to pay? Like the weight was never heavy enough to hold you down? Why is it? Kevin told me not to share this poem. CP Mays told me not to write it. Elemental told me not to think about, to even try to engage with this part of my life. And you know, I know on a feature where we're supposed to be celebrating an angel of a life that we're hoping to hold on to, this is maybe too much. Maybe I shouldn't, and I'm sorry for the melancholy, myopic, I'm not gonna apologize for telling my story. Yo, I was 29 and I was feeling fine, freaking out, insecure, neurotic, emotional, F-I-N-E, and then it got worse. This is not a panic attack. No one who struggles with panic talks about it. It only makes it worse. This is just a story where I lost my business partner. Which is one way of saying it. You could also say, oh wait, but y'all couldn't. You couldn't say he took your business, took your clients, took your life, left you with nothing more than the cash, left you with more than the cash, left you with the responsibility of telling the story. Responsibility here means a noun. Your ability to respond. The obligation to carry forward and assign tasks to a successful conclusion. You can see also care, safekeeping, or scream. Step 2, my wife had a baby. You would not be able to say that they gutted her like a pig. The operation room table, sir, is the central part of any surgical suite. We offer a variety of modern features: electronic height adjustment, lateral tilt, mobile coaster, arms with C-arm accessories. The arms. The position of the arms in a C-section surgery is directly off the shoulder, perfectly horizontal. Just horizontal. There was nothing perfect about it. When they took my bride and placed her on a cross, they killed my lover with the hope of resurrecting a mother and a baby. We sacrificed the youth of my love upon the altar of wanting to be a family, and it worked. God forgive me, it worked. Step 4, I got injured at work, or you could say I got my brains bashed in with God's baseball bat when 2.8 tons of white oak crashed into the back of my head, and it's still not a panic attack. I can breathe. I can breathe. I got this. Y'all, I'm not in a good place. My daughter was 3 months old when the doctors told my wife they were putting my face back on. Turns out a new face only costs $100 grand, and I guess they had budget cuts, because this is one ugly mug, and I'm not a liar. I really am having a good time. I'm having a good time. Yo, I got a question. What's Wonder Bread so curious about? Better yet, I got a question. What's the difference between Pennywise and Bozo the Clown? What are we poets consuming to put it all on the stage and the page? Is this just tragedy porn? Y'all, am I more heartbroken yet? Am I still wearing any clothes? Hey, do you guys want to see a trick? You see, this boy's been bamboozled before by better brothers. So you best be bright, brilliant, binding, bounding, bondage, bandage, but only briefly, brother Sum, for we are bittersweet when brandished, beautiful, where belligerent banner begets bullheaded, brain-blistering bullets. Are y'all not entertained? How can you not sit there and say something? Y'all, I want to have my cake and eat it too. I want to be gnarly and never get hurt. I want to get smarter without suffering. I've been lighting my cake at both ends and eating it all, so I found some chain at the end of my rope. I guess what I'm trying to say is that I've been having a hard time. And nobody seems to know how to help. But thanks for listening, y'all. It seems to help. No matter how undone I've gotten with depression, anxiety, MS, Maze, I've got a little bit of white guilt. Probably wouldn't have thought so. I still find a way from time to time to stand up and do what I need to do. I remind myself that I have depression. Depression does not have me. And I remind myself of who I am. And I am George Alois Robespierre Billy Bob III. Also known as Sonny, aka SideKick, Greylan counts. I'm the big man. I live, I die. This is the hairy man who fetched the sun from the sky. One forward step, another forward step. Dominance. I called out on Monday because I was busy rescuing a baby from a fire that was on apartment. It was 117,000 degrees outside, and the hail that was falling from the sky was the size of my big, hairy head. Everybody wants the big balls, until you have to carry them around. A weaker man would be bow-legged. When the evening comes, my wife cries, "Not the whole thing, honey!" Paul Bunyan did a mighty fine job. Cut himself down a tree or two. Left a little hole in the ground out west. Didn't look too grand to me, fine though that canyon be. When he brought his ox home, I called it Babe, just to get little brother's goat. Or ox. John Henry did a mighty fine job. Built that tunnel square and right, he did. He was a steel driving man. I'm proud of all my little brothers, I is. It's a great family name. The last name of man. Oh, it's sweeter than a refrigerator. Cooler than a now and later. Just the day-to-day backbone of this world. Real men doing manly things. Swinging lead and throwing steel. Hard work, hard things, Hard hands and a hard on. I'm getting too old for this. I'm your Huckleberry. Any boy can fight. But it's our wits that make us men. Real men hide their feelings because it's none of your damn business. Oh, I'm 100% healthy. Ain't no room for toxic in my masculinity. And if it doesn't make sense to you, I'll mansplain it. Hold on 1 second. Mattie, you still there? Mattie?
Yeah.
Okay, so Mattie, mansplaining is when a man explains something to you that you already know in a way that could be perceived as condescending. It's when a masculine figure, which is me, uses his word place to try to create ideas and then place them into your cute little head. Men do not cry. Men do not pout. Men punch you in the mouth and say thanks for coming out. Men say I love that guy. And next time I see him, I'm gonna hit him in the... A man is 12% swift as the coursing river. 15% on the force of a great typhoon. 45% on the force of a raging fire. And 92% mysterious as the dark side of the moon. Oh, he's 110.6% bad at math. 5% pleasure, 5% pain. And that's all. Too cold to hold, too hot to handle. Not all my man parts are good. Not all men are good. But this poem goes out to all the good men. Love you, Dre.